The Protection Warrior can reflect all the spells back into the boss for a lot of damage, and it has a new defensive cooldown for the whole raid. And also, I know y'all vanilla Andes, you will mold in the comments if I don't make a guide on it, so yeah, here it is, come on. Let's go over your talents a little bit. We're gonna go Protection. As you know, you get Vengeance. When you take damage, you get more damage for yourself. And the most important part, I would say, Critical Block right here. When you get Mastery, you get a chance to critically block, that is double the blocking value. That's 60% less damage. That makes you scale very well. That's really nice. So we're gonna go Protection. We're gonna take Blood and Thunder. That's the thing that you spread your rend when you Thunderclap. We're gonna take 3 points in Toughness for armor. We're gonna take 3 points in Insight, because that gives you damage. Who doesn't want damage? We are gonna take 3 points in Shield Specialization, because you get Rage when you block. That's really good. Also 60 Rage when you Spell Reflect, guys. That's why Spell Reflect is so stinking busted. We're gonna take Shield Mastery right here, because it's gonna reduce the cooldown of our shield block and our shield wall. We gotta keep keep shield block up as much as possible. Of course you want it. Then we're gonna take Hold the Line. Love is in always on time, because it has Critical Strike on it. That's good. We're gonna take Last Stand. That's a defensive cooldown, super important. We're gonna take Bastion of Defense here, because it reduces the chance we get crit. And also when we block, we get more damage sometimes. That's really nice. We are gonna take 1 point in Concussive Blow, because we're gonna need it for later. It's a stun. It's useful in trash, I guess, but we need it for later. We're gonna take 1 point in Warbringer, because that way we can charge in combat. Super important. We're gonna take 2 points in Improved Revenge right here, because that way we can do more damage. Revenge is part of our rotation. We are gonna take a point in Devastate. Devastate is Thunder Armor with damage. Do you need me to explain why you want Thunder Armor with damage? Okay, then we're gonna go for Vigilance right here. This is not the Vigilance that you get in Season of Discovery, for example. It's a little different. Basically, it's just the taunt reset part of it. You put it on somebody that gets hit and you get your taunt back. And you get Vengeance. I guess that's nice. And we're also gonna take right here Heavy Repercussions. When you get Shield Block up, your Shield Slam is gonna do double damage. If this said you do double damage period, it would be the same, because you always have Shield Block on you or you die. Then we're gonna take 3 points in Sword and Board. This is exactly the same as in Season of Discovery. When you Devastate, you get a chance to refresh your Shield Slam, and it is free, so really good. And of course, we're gonna go for Shockwave, your Killstone talent. This is AoE. It's a really strong AoE. You need it for the start of your rotation, super important. After that, you got a couple options, okay? First of all, you can go for Cruelty. That's a no-brainer. We're gonna go here. You can go for War Academy. You get a couple more damage. You gotta get Field Dressing. Field Dressing is super important. It increases all the healing received by 6%. You're a tank, of course you wanna get healed for more. And you can take deep wounds here. You can go for the whole deep wounds. That's nice. Or if you are going a lot of AoE, you can take 2 points in Thunderstruck, because this one is gonna give you more damage to your Shockwave when you Thunderclap. And it also increases the damage of rend a little. It is okay. This one is for AoE, and this one is for single target. It's up to you. You can choose whatever of the two. Now your prime glyphs are gonna be Devastate. We're gonna Devastate all the time. Of course we want Devastate. We are also gonna go here and take Shield Slam, because we wanna get more damage off of the Shield Slam too. And we are also gonna take here the Glyph of Revenge, because Revenge is a huge part of your rotation too. Every time you get a proc you wanna do it. So yeah, 10% damage, 10% damage, 5% crit. They weren't very creative on the major prime glyphs, were they? Okay, so the major glyphs, now you got some flexibility here. First of all, I love this one, Long Charge, being able to charge from longer distance. Every second the boss goes loose, that's a second that somebody can die, being able to charge into the boss. Remember that you can charge in combat, so when you are doing a tank swap or something like that, really good utility being able to charge from long, of course. We are also gonna go here and we're gonna take the Glyph. You can take 2 options here. You can take Glyph of Thunder Armor if you know you're gonna go to an AoE pool. You can take the Glyph of Shield Wall. I'm gonna break down whether you want that Glyph or not later. It's a good idea sometimes. Or you can also take, if you don't want to think with your brain and stuff because you're a warrior, you don't got no intellect in your stats. Okay, you can just go for Shockwave, it's decent, just more AoE. And we are gonna take the Glyph of Spell Reflection, okay? This thing reduces the cooldown, you wanna spell reflect as much as you can. Of course, some fights do not have reflectable spells, and in that case, you're gonna have to take something else like Shield Wall or Thunder Armor, but this is amazing, okay? Spell Reflection is a lot of damage when you get it off, and at the same time, you can get rage from it, so it's amazing. And all the minor glyphs are pretty useless. I don't know, you can take Berserker Rage. This one is a little useful. It's not a big deal, 5 rage, but it is useful somewhat. And yeah, you can probably take the Glyph of Command and Glyph of Demoralizing Shout here, just so you don't have to do it again. Battle Shout, whatever of these ones you don't want to deal with, you can just take the Glyph for it and like, it's gonna last longer. That's good. Your stat priority is gonna be stamina first of all. Remember guys, you need a bunch of stamina to survive the raids. That's an obvious part of it. You need at least, I would say, 12k to start doing tier 11 convincingly. And that's just normal. So if you wanna do heroics, we were looking at something like 15k probably. And you also remember, the more HP you have, the more you can get Vengeance. So stamina is gonna increase your threat dramatically. So that's the reason you don't see people stacking damage stats as a tank anymore, because stamina is your damage stat. After that, we're gonna stack Mastery, because Mastery gives you block and it gives you critical block. It scales amazingly well now in Cataclysm. Every tank that can block is going for Mastery because of that reason. And after that, you can go for Avoidance, that is dodge, parry, and to a lesser extent probably wouldn't even bother with it, you can take block. But of course parry is a little better than dodge because you get parry haste of course. TLDR though, stack HP and then reforge everything you can into Mastery. That's the way you should look at it, period. Your rotation is a simple priority system like any other warrior rotation. Okay, first of all, you gotta keep your Rend debuff on the target at all times. Rend is a lot of damage. You also want to make sure Demo Shout and Thunderclap are on the boss too, because that reduces the damage so you don't have to die. And of course, if you got nobody else to give you the buffs, Commanding Shout and Battle Shout, you're gonna have to deal with that. Yes, it kinda sucks that you gotta keep up so many stuff. Welcome to Warrior Town. Do not drink the water. The actual rotation, once you get rid of all those 5 globas that you hate, that you gotta keep up at all times, okay? Then you gotta do, first of all, Shield Slam. Shield Slam is insane, it does double damage with your shield block, you wanna keep it up, of course, wanna dump it on cooldown. Then we're gonna go Revenge, whenever you get a proc, you do it. Then we're gonna do Devastate as a filler, and if you still got a lot of rage and you don't know what to do with it, you can do Heroic Strike to dump it. Super simple, this is one of the easier tanks out there, I would say. For your AoE rotation, you wanna open with Shockwave to stun all the guys in place. Okay, it is very important that you open with Shockwave, because you don't want all the mobs going loose. The problem is that most of your AoE damage comes from 2 globals that set up, so you don't want to set it up unless you already have threat or they go loose and they kill people. So after that, you can go for a rend on one target and then you thunderclap it and you spread the rend to everybody else, and all of a sudden you're doing a cajillion damage. That's good. Of course, you wanna cleave if you got the rage to do it too, to increase your damage a little more, but that's pretty much it. Remember guys, your revenge also hits another target now, so really good idea to do revenge if you can. I think it is also important that we talk about the defensives, because as you guys know, threat is not a problem anymore in Cataclysm. The problem for you is staying alive. So the warrior has a very particular type of defensive style, and I would say it's probably not the strongest because of the style of it. The numbers are good, but let's take a look at it. First of all, you got shield block, you gotta keep it up at all times. It increases your chance to block. The more you block, the less time you get destroyed, of course. And also remember, it gives you double damage, so even if you wanna just stack threat, shield block is still good for that reason. All the surplus avoidance that you have, okay, when you go over 100%, it turns into critical block, so shield block is not gonna give you block, it's gonna give you double block. Super valuable. You also have Shield Wall. In Cataclysm, Shield Wall got quote-unquote nerfed because it is only at 40%. Like I said before on the Glyph part, you can take the 60% Glyph for Shield Wall. It will increase the cooldown. It still makes sense in some fights to take it, because what if the fight is shorter than 5 minutes, or what if the fight only has like one part of the fight where you take a lot of damage? it might make sense to take the Glyphs shield wall. I usually do not take it, but you can take it, it makes sense sometimes. The reason it reduces less damage now is because the cooldown is now only 5 minutes, so yes, it is actually not a problem anymore, the 30-minute cooldown. Remember when you would wipe in vanilla and you couldn't do nothing for 10 minutes because you had to wait for the warrior to get it back up? Not anymore. Rallying Cry, that's one of your best abilities. It will increase everybody in the raid's HP by 20%. It is like a mini last stand, super busted. You need a warrior of any kind just to bring that over. Then you got last stand, that's 30% more HP temporarily too, super important too. And then rage generation, it is a small heal. Nothing pretty much compared to like what a Blood Decay can do, or even a Paladin with Word of Glory. It is pretty tiny, and that's the problem with the Prod Warrior and why people do not like the Prod Warrior. It is that all their defensives cannot make up for having a bad healer, okay? If you're doing a raid or God forbid an LFD dungeon and the healer doesn't feel like healing, you are still gonna die. It doesn't matter if you're amazing because you got no way of replenishing your HP as other tanks can do, so that kinda sucks. The numbers are good, do not get me wrong, they could be a lot worse, but yeah, that problem is gonna, in a low level guild, I probably wouldn't go for a Prod Warrior because it will unmask your bad raiders. Okay, that's the problem with it. It's a lot easier to think that your raid is good when you get a Blood Decay and that guy is doing like all the healing for himself, you know? Your meta gem is gonna be the austere Shadow Spirit Diamond because it gives you armor. We like armor. Your red gem is gonna be the Defender's Shadow Spinel. Your blue gem is gonna be the solid Deep Holm Lowlight, and your yellow gem is gonna be the Fractured Lightstone. Yes, this is the only spec in the freaking game where you gotta take the proper color for the proper socket. No need for a joke anymore. This is actually proper serious stuff right here, brother. And you know what's a joke? All the people that claim to have love for me but then go and refuse to subscribe, leave a like, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.